the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Like that for a few years now. It feels wide open every year. That's kind of what makes it the most fun conference. Like, it's not always the best teams playing in the Big 12. It's, I guess, rarely the best teams coming out of the Big 12, but they have, I don't know, I don't have the data in front of me, but it feels like they have more one-score games than any conference in the country.
Yeah, I agree. Matt Green, first up here, buy or sell. Oklahoma State, not Utah, should be considered the favorite to win the Big 12 this season, sir.
I'm going to sell that, sir. I like Oklahoma State, and like we just said, this conference is pretty wide open. But since Jim Knowles left, they had the 89th scoring defense in 2022 and the 90th scoring defense in 2023. And obviously Utah, we don't even know. We supposedly Cam Rising is going to play quarterback, right? We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. But obviously he's back again. We don't know really what to expect from Utah's offense. It was a little underwhelming a year ago, but I just feel like I can count on their defense more. And I feel like that just raises the floor of how bad I guess Utah can be. Like I just trust Utah more. Obviously it's a new conference playing new competition, but they're just always solid defensively. Oklahoma State, I think they had the most first team all conference picks in the Big 12 media days. So I mean they obviously are a talented team, but I don't know. I feel like I just trust Kyle Whittingham and Utah more.
I think what's interesting too, what would you guess their record was last year, Matt Green? Utah, off the top of your head, do you know?
I was just looking, so it was like 8-5?
8-5. People are talking about Utah like they're coming off 2 years ago in that season. I understand, no Cam Rising all last year. I don't think that excuses that kind of a fall off here in a competitive now Big 12 moving the conference. We'll see how things work. It took a little bit, I think, if I remember correctly, when Utah moved to the Pac-12. They weren't instantly finding a lot of success when they moved conferences. It took a little bit of time. Obviously, they became one of the powerhouses in the conference and one of the most consistent in the Pac-12 for the last several years, Matt Green. But look, Oklahoma State was in the Big 12 title game against Texas last year. Huh?
I said that's also an upward move too, like going from G5 to Power 5. Like now they're arguably going to a lesser talented conference because the Pac-12, especially last year, was loaded. Like I think, what were they, like the fifth best team in the Pac-12? Like I think that may have been the second best team in the Big 12 a year ago, for sure.
But Oklahoma State, like you said, the defense post Jim Knowles has not been there, but they were 13th in offense, 41st in defense last year. Bowman and Gordon are back. That's important. I love that both of the two powerhouses in this conference have quarterbacks that are close to our age, and Alan Bowman and Cam Rising. They've been in college for a very long time. But Ollie Gordon, one of the best backs.
And they still got a ways to go to catch us.
Exactly. They went 10-4 a season ago. They return 11 starters on offense, 10 on defense. They return a bunch of dudes. But what was weird when I was going through their stuff and like why Oklahoma State had success last year and just jogging my memory of certain things, what's weird is they were 9th in the Big 12 in rushing offense and 4th in passing offense. They were 58th in net drive success rate, that being Utah in that 8-5 season last year. They were 65th actually in pass defense. So the Utah was just not, they weren't elite anywhere really. I was going through the stats and trying to figure out what is going on with Utah. It's not just a Cam Rising thing. Like Utah, I think is going to be good. They still return a lot of pieces like you talked about, but I just look at Oklahoma State. I think they should be considered the favorite. They bring so many guys back. They weren't even an elite rushing the ball team in the Big 12 last year. I think Ollie Gordon should be even better. I think this offensive line is going to be good. If Alan Bowman can stay healthy, that pass offense is going to be good again. I don't know. I think the defense will be good enough to hold, and Oklahoma State should win the Big 12. I think they're my Big 12 pick going into this year, and I think they're in a good spot to make the playoff here, Matt Green.
And they weren't even the second team by the media, right? Kansas State was second.
Yeah.
So Oklahoma State,
sleeping on the Pokes.
Yeah, it's pretty close though. Utah had 20 first place votes, Kansas State with 19, and Oklahoma State with 14. So it's they're all right there. But yeah, I mean, Oklahoma State should definitely be talented, but I don't know. I trust Kyle Whittingham more. Are we worried about Gundy's DUI comments at Big 12 media days. Do we need to touch on that?
I just feel like he said, I mean, it's just par for the course, right? Like, it's just, you never know when he's going to say something else, but it's also, he's just going to win. Like, what is Mike Gundy? I mean, let's see here. Let's go to Mike
I
Gundy.
saw someone say the amount of job security you have to perceive for yourself to admit to thousands of DUIs.
That was a wild thing. He won 10 games last year. So here you go, Matt Green. Since 2015, he's won at least 10 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times since 2015 here. He is the fewest amount of winning games he's won is 2018 when he won 7. That was his worst season really in nearly a decade. And then obviously last 2022 he had a 7-6. That was a weird year altogether. But 12-2 in 2021, 10-4 last year. I don't know, man. To me, Mike Gundy, we talk about Kyle Whittingham being a safe pick. Mike Gundy's, these two coaches are just long-term linchpins at their university and just win football games, man. And they evolve. Like Mike Gundy, think about the Zach Robinson, Justin Blackman era and what that looked like in Stillwater years ago. And then they were very defense heavy. And now post Jim Knowles, they're not even very defense heavy. They're just competent and they're older and they're retaining their starters and they just play sound. I don't know. It's just, I think Mike Gundy deserves more credit for evolving to his personnel and the times. Like it's a tough job. I think Oklahoma State is year over year, and he's just gotten so much out of what he can with the Cowboys year over year. And I think this year they're set up to be another serious threat. And they're my preseason pick. Is Utah your pick to win the Big 12 this year, Matt Green?
I'd have to go actually look through the schedule and everything to ultimately make the pick. Off the top of my head, they feel like the pick, but I mean, I'm with you. Like, I think Oklahoma State is like the biggest beneficiary of Texas and Oklahoma leaving. Like, they feel like the best program in recent history, like that's left in that conference. So they should definitely clean up. But Utah, it'll be, hopefully it comes down to those two. I mean, what was Oklahoma State? I mean, they were like a yard away from probably the college football playoff, right? If they win that Big 12 championship with Baylor, they probably jump Cincinnati because the Power 5 being Power 5 champion. So obviously Gundy's done a hell of a job, but it'll be interesting to see this year.
Absolutely. Next up, buy or sell. BYU's Kilane Sitake is a sneaky good bet for first coach fired in the Big 12 this season, Matt Green.
So I'm going to sell this one as well. I mean, I guess I don't know how to interpret the Chase Thomas sneaky hot seat. I think his seat is hot. I don't know about the pressure necessarily at BYU. I feel like he's done a pretty good job in recent years. I just feel like Dave Aranda feels like
nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.